Here we are with Terry McBride on the fourth day of the CMA Festival, Music Drinks Daily. How has it gone so far?
Whew, doesn't feel like the fourth day, does it really?
I don't know. Ask me at the end of the day. We'll
Hey,
see.
this is the fun day for me because I don't have to, no performance today.
Oh,
no
okay,
stress of
so-
having to have my voice, and
Nice.
I already blew that out yesterday. So
Oh,
it's
wow. Yeah. At least I got to see you yesterday.
it was
so
really good.
Very cool.
Good crowd, great show, a lot of fun.
Yeah, what's been your favorite part so far?
Well, that was a big eye-opening experience for me because I've been away from the performance side of this for, gosh, almost 20 years.
Wow.
The band that I had, McBride and the Ride, slowly ended in about 95. We had about a 5-year window there where we did a lot of touring and recording and had some great success. It was fantastic. But all good things come to an end, including bands,
Right.
And so fortunately for me, I was able to move on, and artists started recording some of my songs. John Anderson was my first cut, which I loved John Anderson back in the day,
yeah.
And then George Strait was my second major cut, which was like,
fantastic.
I'm from Texas. I thought I had died and gone to heaven.
Right.
I was ready to retire after that. I thought,
Yeah.
surely this is it. And then Brooks and Dunn were the next people that cut my recorded songs, and which I'd known those guys. We came up together in '92. We were New Group of the Year, us and
Yeah.
Brooks and Dunn and Diamond Rio, actually. But and Kix co-wrote "Sacred Ground," a big hit for me in '92. And so anyway, they recorded a song of mine called "I Am That Man" that later went on to be a #1 song, and that opened the door. Ronnie sort of invited me to come over and hang out and get to know each other, and then he just gotten a bus of his own. He would get off the band bus and invited me to go to California for like a 15-day run. I think we wrote like 10 songs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, including "He's Got You," which became a #1 single for him. And so we were just kind of, musically we hit it off, and then personally we did too.
Yeah.
And then we kind of became like old high school pals. We're just
Yeah.
like a guy I'd known all my life, and that turned into 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah, traveling with those guys and writing songs and hits, and it was fantastic.
Yeah. So I have heard there have been some shenanigans. Wendy was getting me up to speed on some
Oh,
of those.
no.
So share some stories with me.
Surely that doesn't happen on the
No,
road.
never.
Well, lots of shenanigans. I'll tell you something interesting I did with Brooks and Dunn. They used to carry this fantastic hot air balloon that they would blow up each evening, and they would have Brooks and Dunn steer horns on it.
Yep,
Really cool.
yep.
Joe, the pilot, was fantastic. And so Kix asked me to come go with a balloon ride with him one day. I'd never done it.
Oh, wow.
I was excited. It sounded and looked so cool, and it was. But they did the sort of a hot takeoff, they call it, where they had it tethered, and they gassed it up really full balloon, whatever you do, because they had to get up and over certain things like trees and
Yeah.
highline wires.
Yeah.
Which I pictured, gently floating into the clouds. No, it was like the wind was whipping past us as we were jet propelled up through the sky. Then when we got above the houses and ballparks, that was so cool. You're just like sailing, But then we went really high because it was such a nice day, I assume. And the basket is lower than you would really like it to be, when you're that high.
Right.
I mean, I'd like it up here. It's way lower, and a little nylon strap you can put your hand through in case
Yeah.
I guess you get knocked out of the basket. I'm starting to take all this in
Right.
as I'm in my first trip, and the heat on your
Yeah.
head from the balloon, the gas. But anyway, we were up so high. Then we were coming down. Well, the weather got a little dicey on the way down, so
Oh, dear.
we missed our destination where we were trying to land, and we have a team following us. So as we missed that and the wind's picking up, Joe said, "Everybody hang on and stay in the basket. We're going to land." And they pulled this plug out of the top of the balloon. That's how it works. Velcroed plug on a cable that they pull lets the air out, But we hit hard, and then we tipped over. Then we drug
Oh,
for a while.
wow.
Yeah. They don't show you that in the brochure,
Yeah,
I'm
no
sure.
kidding. Wow.
So it was an experience, to say the least.
Yeah.
But with those guys, stuff like that happened daily, it seemed like. Between motorcycle
sure.
rides, we were trailering our bikes on the road, we were doing this and that. But one thing I did share earlier was, there's so many guys on the bus, and we didn't have a huge crew. But still, we were playing in San Antonio, and after the gig, we stopped like a H-E-B, big, huge grocery store chain down in Texas. And we get back on the bus, and we're all laughing, having a good time going down the road. All of a sudden, we look out our window, and there's a wrecker driving beside us with those yellow flashing lights. He has the dome light on, and he has our steel player in the wrecker with him. And we go, oh no, we've left Gary behind at the HEB. Somehow he commandeered a record guy
Oh my gosh.
in the produce section, and the next thing you know, he's hauling down the road with us. Pull over!
Oh my Lord.
And none too happy about it. I
Yeah,
mean, you
I'm
know, it
sure.
was humiliated that we didn't even think enough of him to make a head count. But that was different.
Yeah.
As far as shenanigans, I don't know if that's shenanigans, but it was a strange experience to say
Wow.
the least. Oh yeah.
You have done some amazing things in your career, just amazing things. And the one that I wanted to talk about was, have you seen her?
Yes.
Love, love, love. I got
Oh,
to see that
thanks.
performed.
Oh, did you really?
Yes, I did, with when Reba and Brooks
Yeah.
and Dunn were on tour. So tell me about
Oh,
that.
it was just, you know, as a songwriter, it can be brutal. The business of just, recently I had a song that Jason Aldean's producer, Michael Knox, just loved. It's the title of my EP, Hotels and Highways.
Yes, yeah.
He thought it was the song they had finally found for Jason. You know, I went, well, that's cool. My other two writers were freaking out. Young guys. I'd already been through this 1,000 times. But they were, you know, counting on it. You know, and it got to Jason. It just didn't happen. He passed on the song. And they were devastated, you know. But, I mean, that's just what happens. Fortunately, with the If You See Him, If You See Her, they I was out on the road with Ronnie. And I'd been, you know, traveling and hanging and writing, and they were out on tour with Reba. And Ronnie said, you know, if we found the right song for me and Reba, we could continue this tour maybe another year. And so a light bulb went off for sure. It was one of those moments where I went, that would be cool. And got with the right people, a couple co-writers that I'd written with a lot, Tommy Lee James and Jennifer Kimball. And Jennifer had this little idea of If You See Him. And we went, that's so cool. And as we continued to kind of work the idea out, someone had the brilliant idea of going, what if Ronnie said, have you seen her? If you see him, if you see her. So it just, all of a sudden it fit perfectly. And we were excited and motivated to move on. So we did. We cut the track, and we brought in this friend, this girl named Sunny Russ, who sang a lot like Reba. And then I did my best Ronnie Dunn. If you see her, you know, anything with an ER, you can book a Ronnie. And so we cut the track. It was so good. We knew we had something. And then, of course, I'm sounding just like Ronnie, and I played it for Ronnie. And he's standing there taking it all in, you know. Oh, I could see his back. He's imagining the whole tour. And then, of course, I'm sounding just like him. He turns to me. He goes, when the song is over, he said, Terry, you have never sounded better in your life. Because I sounded just like him. But anyway, fortunately for him, he loved the song, and Reba did too. And I was telling someone earlier that they loved the song, but they were also on different labels, and the labels could not come to terms on how to do it, and the whole deal fell apart.
Oh.
And as a songwriter, of course, there again,
Right.
I was this close to having something wonderful happen, monumental with those artists at the time, the
Right.
biggest acts in country music. And it fell apart. And Ronnie went, well, I'll get Patty Loveless to sing it. I'll do something. I love that song. Fortunately, Reba spoke up and said, listen, we both love this song. Let's make it happen. And I'll be darned if they didn't. And so they released, Reba's album was called If You See Him, Brooks and Dunn was called If You See Her.
Wow.
And they released them on the same day, first time ever.
Wow.
That had happened where the same song was shared by two artists. And so Reba came in at one, and Brooks and Dunn came in at two. It was like, finally, you know, I mean, I'd had some wonderful things that have happened to me along the way as a writer, as an artist, but that was a huge moment, you know, just it all came together and lined up perfectly.
You know, if anybody can make it happen, a redhead can. I'm just saying.
I know the fact. My youngest is a flaming red orange hair.
Oh,
She
nice.
has this beautiful head of hair that's just so nice, and I know what you're saying.
Well, let's get back to your EP,
Oh, thanks.
because, I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Yeah, I'm taking you off to other places,
Hey,
but I'd love
know.
to.
Yeah,
Thank you.
tell me. I love Hotels and
Oh,
Highways. Love
thank
it.
you.
Sounds amazing.
Oh, I really appreciate that.
So talk to us about it.
Well, it's really the song that got the whole idea of maybe making this EP started. That got the ball rolling. And I just happened to sing that demo of that song that I'd written with two other my co-writers and friends. And one of the other younger guys, he always sings usually. And the guys, you know, although he's a fan of what I did years ago, there's always somebody that wants to sing. You know, I mean, I'm not the first in line to go, let me sing it. But he was going to. He couldn't make it that day, so I had to sing it. And I just kind of lazily sang through it, but there was something in my voice that just fit the track, you know? I didn't even realize it, but my other co-writer, Tommy Cecil, he took my little out-of-tune, lazy, no-caring voice and tuned it, and when they sent it back to us, it was really cool. And his
wow.
publisher immediately took it to Kenny Chesney and said, you got to hear this song. The weird tuned voice of mine.
Yeah.
But when I heard it, I went, man, I could sing that song. Now I realize I could, and that's what I did, and that's what led to the EP.
Cool.
Yeah.
So when you come up with your songs, what's your creative process like?
Well, for me, I'm still a working songwriter.
Right.
That's my job. That's what I've been doing the last 20 years, and that's what brought me to Nashville. So I'm always writing, but occasionally through those writes, something fits me. If it's more like a little George Strait kind of vein or something, which now everybody's kind of looking for a country song, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
People are, and fortunately for me, that's what I like to sing and what I always did. So when I find those, and I've found a couple moving forward now that I really like, that I'm about to demo and track, and if they
Very cool.
turn out special. One is strictly a Texas song that I'm from there, and I wrote it with my friend Bryce Long from Kentucky. Bryce is a fantastic songwriter that wrote Like a Cowboy, Randy Houser. He's got John Party's new single, Heartache on the Dance Floor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Bryce and I have had, we've had Garth Brooks. We had a song with Garth's last record with Craig Campbell that we wrote. And we've had Casey James' first single. We've had Reba's recorded one of our songs. And we've had great successes, pals and a co-writing team. But he's a guy from Kentucky that loves Texas. He's a team roper, calf roper, and he goes down there. He's been active and involved in all the cowboy stuff, and he just loves it.
Cool.
And so he had this idea about Love Me Some Texas, and we wrote it, and it's so good, and it just says a lot about what I grew up on. It just fits me perfectly, and
Very nice.
I like those kind of songs, So I can tell moving forward, I've already got one song that I want to sort of showcase and use as a project moving forward. So. That's part of what I do. I 3, 4, sometimes 5 days a week I still write. So through that process, I eventually, now I'm looking more than I used to. I would just send it to George Strait or whoever was cutting and tracking. But now I am looking, and even with Hotels and Highways, even with Jason Aldean thinking he was going to cut it, I was excited, loved Jason, known him forever, but I wasn't disappointed because I needed the song.
Yeah.
I have to have a good song if I'm going to get anybody's attention, and I'm going to create a little something for myself moving forward.
Right.
The songs have got to be good, and I know this day and time people want songs churned out. I'm not sure I can do that.
Yeah.
Churn them out, and I don't mind doing it as a writer, see where they land. But for me, this is a special moment and opportunity that I really want to embrace and make the most sincere, honest sort of attempt at the music that I can.
Yeah. Well, your album came out in February, right?
Right,
And you have some tour dates coming up in October, I
I
thought.
have tour dates, first time in years. Signed with a young agency, Artists Live, which is really cool. Just a young guy that's having some success with some other artists and is really into what I'm doing, and also really appreciates what I've done. And it's just a good fit. And he's actively out there pursuing and putting dates together. So I've got that coming together. Just played the Forever Country stage yesterday with a great crowd.
Awesome.
And it was really fun. I kind of got up there first time on a big stage like that in a while and felt right at home.
Very cool.
Crowd did too. I could tell they were just as long as I can sing good. And the cool thing about what I'm doing now, as opposed to McBride and the Ride, we had hits on the radio, so it was great. It was a win-win. You show up, you've got a hit, you've got the crowd, know. But now what I can do, I can play those old hits, which some people remember. I've got this new project, which some people know, and I've also got hits from other people that I've written.
Yeah.
So I ended my show with Play Something Country.
Oh, nice.
That I wrote with Ronnie, and it works great. I like using all that to my advantage.
Very cool.
Plus, I was the voice of McBride and the Ride, and I wrote those songs, so have no problem going back and singing them.
Yeah, yeah.
So moving forward, that's I'm kind of putting my show together based around all of that. But so far, so good.
Good. That's very exciting news.
Yeah,
I'm
it
sure
is.
you're going to have a blast.
Thanks.
So where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me everywhere, and I love that everybody's reaching out, even through this week. You know, it's so good. But I'm at Facebook. My website, Facebook, and Instagram is Terry McBride Music.
Okay.
So just look me up, and you can get connected to all that. The Terry McBride on Twitter.
Okay.
But my website is really cool.
Your website's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of it. I've got a little bit of information. I've got some throwback pictures on there of back in the day.
I
And
saw
some-
those.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I appreciate you
those.
getting on there. And I've got a store. I've never had that before.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
Yep.
people are going on there, and it's interesting. I'm with a great company, Richards and Southern, that do like Luke Bryan, Gary Allen.
Yep.
And I just get to reap the benefits of all their knowledge and experience.
Yeah.
They make me look good. And the cool thing about it is,
It's not very hard. Come on, Terry.
oh, come on. We got more time. I hope we do. I don't, wherever I have to be, I don't really have to be there.
Okay.
But even that company, two of the guys, Von Reed and Terry Cologne, they're like, they know me from back in the day, and they're just so supportive. I did a little acoustic set, there they were. You know, they have huge clients, and there they are out supporting me. So I love that. And even today, I signed at the CMA booth. Didn't know what to expect. There could be two people or no people, but we had a constant up until I finished, you know. And
wow.
people knowing the new music already, they know the old music. They're surprised to find out I have new music. So it's a win-win, and just nothing but good, cool, positive people. I mean, waiting in line, I did it when I was a kid. My dad was here at Fanfare in 1977. I was a senior in high school. My dad flew me up, first time on a jet. And I came to Nashville. I've been coming here off and on since I was a kid with my dad. He was in the music business.
Right. Dale, right?
Dale McBride, recording artist and on an independent label out of here. And he had quite a bit of success. Really popular regional guy down in Texas and stayed active and touring musician all my life. He would be gone most of the time.
Wow.
For a lot of long periods of time, he would go out the West Coast and make trips to Nashville. But I cut my teeth early on this business through my dad.
Yeah.
And he brought me to town for Fanfare back in it was called back then, of course, 1977, and it was in the Municipal Auditorium downtown, in the event center down in the bottom.
Okay.
And then they would have concerts upstairs, Charlie Pride, whoever labeled shows. And so I received a Instamatic camera that year, the Polaroid. It just kind of come out. And I knew it was new and cool because I was saying earlier, I went to Dottie West, got up close, took a picture of her, then I let it develop. And then when she saw that, she flipped. She's like, "Girls, come look at this." She thought that was the coolest thing. I went, "Well, I'm in." With Dottie West. And the cool thing about those Polaroids, they had the white bar at the bottom, which was perfect to sign. They loved that.
Totally.
Charlie Pride, Crystal Gale, Barbara Mandrell, Loretta Lynn. I got everybody. I still have all of that in a photo album.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm a fan. That's where it started for me early on. I'm a country fan.
Very
And
cool.
then hanging and rubbing elbows and meeting, and then later touring, and it's kind of surreal, you know. Recently I did a thing in Cleveland for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, a Johnny Cash tribute, and the Oak Ridge Boys were on it. Of course, grew up with those guys, listening to them on the radio.
Yep.
And then when I met them, they were like, Dwayne Allen was telling Joe Bonsall and all the guys, "Terry McBride, this is the guy. This is the songwriting." I was going, "Oh my God."
That's, wow.
The Oak Ridge Boys are heaping praise on me. It just felt so good. And they were so good. You know, William Lee Golden was the first artist to ever sing one of my songs live. William Lee Golden left the Oak Ridge Boys for a brief period, did a solo thing. My producer, Tony Brown, was cutting some sides on him, so he took one of my songs and cut it. And then he was going to be on Ralph Emery Live, Nashville Now. So we had a party. It might as well have been Elvis cutting my song. I'd never had a song recorded. I never had anybody do anything. And all of a sudden, we were having a pizza party, all my friends together, and there's William Lee Golden singing my song on television. It was like unreal. And then, you know, all these years later, here they are, of course, still doing great. And, you know, I know them personally. It's just so crazy.
Very cool.
You know, that and a whole lot of other fantastic artists that are, you know, friends and, you know, touring partners and whatever over the years. It's a good bunch of people, and even this, you know, this younger crop that's coming up, they have nothing but respect for me, and I love that about them. I mean, a lot of them know, and that era that I was a part of, and of course I've had songs cut by a lot of them.
Josh Grayson.
Josh, I had a big hit with Josh. It was fantastic. I just got a cut with Dustin Lynch 2 weeks ago.
Oh, very cool.
I've got a song on Cole Swindell's new album, which is really cool. I've got a song on Trace Adkins' new album, and you know, I still continue to get a few cool things happening. Still working hard, but you don't know if that's necessarily going to turn into cuts.
Right.
But for me, fortunately, I'm still finding my way, you know, and having some people respond to the music I'm trying to make and write.
It sounds like you're heading the right way to me. It really does.
So far, so good.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next, but it's all been really good so far.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by to see us
Listen,
today.
it's been a pleasure, really. I love these types of conversations. They're just casual. I think your viewers and people like it too.
Yes,
you know?
yep.
It's not so stiff, and it's just kind of,
Get to
what
know
are you
ya.
doing? And
Yep.
yeah, it's a great way for them to get to know me and us as well to have this kind of conversation. So thank you so much for that
Terry
opportunity.
McBride Music, right?
Terry McBride Music.
So,
I'm out there. Come
look 'em
find
up.
me. Love to hear from you, and that's been a fun part of it too.
All right.
The feedback is great.
Cool. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.